6-0.
Yes, Leipzig have got lots of work to do under their new coach, Ole Werner. They missed out on Europe last season and it has not been the best of starts. As for Bayern, as Ali mentioned, 6 goals for their opener. Full steam ahead from Vincent Kompany's men. We had our boys on the ground at the Allianz Arena today. Archie Rintot, Thomas Hitzelsberger and Jan Arge-Fjordtoft. We'll be hearing from them in just a moment. Let me start with you though, Ali, on your takeaways from what we saw today.
Our first comment into this match was, we know what we're going to get from Bayern Munich. We have a really good idea as to what this team is and what the potential of this group is. We've already seen it last year in Bundesliga competition. We were expecting that finding a contender or a team that would actually put up a fight against Bayern Munich was going to be difficult. And if you're like me, coming into this match and coming into this season thinking, I just don't see a contender, you watch a performance like this by Bayern Munich and you say to yourself, it's over! It's over! It's over before it even starts. This version of Bayern Munich is too good for anybody in Bundesliga, and certainly too good for a team like Leipzig. But let me just say, while Bayern Munich were outstanding on the night, Leipzig, horrendous, terrible. Don't know what their game plan was, and you have players out on the field. Xavi Simons looked like a player that he's no longer going to play for Leipzig. That's how disinterested the performance was, and he wasn't the only one. But regardless, focusing on Bayern Munich, 6-0, could have been more, but what's even more encouraging if you're a Bayern Munich fan is the combination play that led to the goals. It's how sharp that combination was between the front three, how good Michael Olise was, how good Luis Diaz was, and then how good and explosive Harry Kane was, and the runners that are willing to get beyond Harry Kane when he becomes a playmaker. All of those things put together make Bayern Munich unstoppable in Bundesliga. They're still a little light in numbers when we think of depth and this team actually challenging in Europe, but in Bundesliga play, nobody can keep up with this version of Bayern Munich.
Well, that's a good point, isn't it, Archie? That's the backdrop right now. This does appear to be a Bayern Munich side that's still not complete for the season right now.
Exactly, Kay. And when we consider the hysteria that there had been in the Munich media here about, well, are there enough players in this squad? Which, I say hysteria, I think they were reasonable questions to be asked when you lose the players that they had. But consider, Thomas, that without Jamal Musiala, their attack against what is the team with the 3rd biggest budget in the league have smashed them 6-0. You don't win the league in August, but you can make a big statement.
Yeah, there's so many takeaways from this game, but, you know, before the game, as you just said, we criticised Bayern for the transfer policy. And even after tonight, it's still difficult for me to say how good are they really, what is missing, because normally after such a game, you'd say, everything's fine. They're going to win the Bundesliga easily. But then it brings me to the team they played tonight, RB Leipzig. It is one of those teams you can have difficulties with, but they looked awful. Almost throughout the game, they were so bad that I'm thinking, what is going on in this Bundesliga? Is there any other team that can compete with Bayern? I don't think it will be quiet next week with Bayern, but this performance is so encouraging for Vincent Kompany and probably Max Eberl, who mentioned him before the game. He will have a good night's sleep.
But listen, we can't compare Bayern with Leipzig. I mean, they missed out on Europe last season. They seem to miss out on Germany this season. I mean, this is a terrible performance. This is not a contender. Yes, I know they have the budget. Yes, they have the 3rd biggest budget, but that was terrible out there today. I mean, they did everything wrong. And it was a perfect night for Bayern Munich because they let the old guys like Kane and people like scoring a hat-trick, but also they had some time to put the young kids on to get them going. In terms of Simmons, I'm glad he didn't play today because he was on the pitch, but he was away. So there are things like that to sort out. But Bayern's standard is not RB Leipzig. I don't think they will be a main contender for them, but it's an unbelievable statement of them. And we saw Ole Werner, he put the teams together in the halfway line. A bit too late to analyze the game. Should have done that before the game, maybe.
Ale was talking about the neat interplay of Bayern, which is something we didn't see as much last season. I would say a lot of it was their intensity and the hunger that Vincent Kompany always spoke about. But something that we have always spoken about, and understandably, is Harry Kane. Because he has scored what they call in Germany, Kay, a Lupenreiner hat-trick, which Thomas will explain is...
3 goals in a row in one half with no other player scoring in between. That's what he did. He was convincing last season, and again this season he does deliver. He doesn't speak much, that's why it's also surprising to me to say he's a leader of the group, but he's a player that leads by example on the pitch. Doesn't say much, but the performance speaks for itself.
So, to sum up from what you guys are saying, it's very good, but we would like to see some more. Of this Bayern team.
Yeah, but we will see more. I think it always depends on the teams that show up here. If they all come to the Allianz Arena and just do what Leipzig did, this is going to be the easiest season for Bayern, but I don't expect that to happen.
Now, and I think that is important to say, RB Leipzig looked terrible today. That said, not take away anything from Bayern, because as you were saying, this hunger today, they wanted to show you, this is they won in the Super Cup. Now they're starting here with a statement. And yes, we were talking about the transfer window, that will keep on. They will need 1 or 2 players to be good in the Champions League and maybe against a Dortmund, Frankfurt, Leverkusen, let's see. But anyway, they need more players, but today, wow, very impressive.
Jan, Thomas, thank you very much for now. Sending it back to UK, Bayern looking imperious. Leipzig, not so much. He was talking about the way that you track back, the way that you work for the team. That must also sing to your heart because, sure, the goals, we expect it from you now, but it must be nice to have the whole package valued.
No, 100%, and I think this is what we've been building with the new coach here, with the team. It doesn't matter who you are in this team, how many games you played, how many goals you scored, you work and you track back and you do your bit in defence as much as attack. So of course I'm going to be judged on goals and how many I score, I know that, but between us we know what we do for each other, and it was another great performance out there today.
But Harry, I have 2 questions. First of all, where is your match ball? That is one.
Okay,
fair enough, fair enough. But secondly, we've seen so many great goal scorers over the generations, but the way you go so deep, we're discussing, oh, Harry is a bit deep, isn't he? And then 14 minutes later you've scored a hat-trick. That way of getting to chances, how much is that into your tactical mind?
Yeah, because I think sometimes in games, especially when you come up against good teams, you know, defenders like to see you, they like to touch you, they like to man mark you. So in games like this, when it's a bit open, I like to drop and almost come into the box late.
Obviously, when you play for England, it was a similar role.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy that, or do you feel like sometimes it would be nice to get a rest up front?
No, I enjoy it, to be honest. I think sometimes as a number 9, you know, you don't always get involved in the game, and you know, throughout my career, I feel like, you know, sometimes I'm too good on the ball not to touch it enough. So I try and help the team in that sense, but. Again, each game will be different. You know, there'll be games where we'll play against low block, and they'll need me as a 9. They'll need me in the box to get on crosses and things like that. Games like this, when it's a bit more man for man, you know, it causes the centre backs a bit of a problem if I'm dropping deep. So I feel comfortable in both, but ultimately, as long as I'm scoring goals in the end, I think the coach will be fine with it.
And do you know how many Bundesliga hat-tricks you now have?
Well, in Germany they say I've only got 3 official hat-tricks, because you have to score.
Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them.
The Bundesliga is tough, it really is.
Yeah. But I don't know, maybe 9 or.
Nearly.
8, but 9 in total. So okay. I was going to say, don't you know that from just going home and being like, right, on the shelf there, we've got 1, 2.
Well, it's funny, my son asked me what ball he was playing with today, because he hasn't got one of these new ones yet, so he'll be happy to have
we concerned that Michael Olise would also score a hat-trick. What would you have done then, between you? Only 1 match ball.
There's enough balls around here. We've both got one, I think, for sure.
But Harry, the last days now, you're talking about that thin squad. What do you see now today when you start with a 6? Is it enough now?
No, I think like from a player's point of view, we can only control what we do on the pitch. I think the message we sent to everyone, the league, is that we're ready. We're ready for any situation, any squad. Ultimately, yeah, we've got a thin squad. There's still, you know, 8 or 9 days until the window, so we'll see if we do some business. But it's out of our control as players. We have to just focus on what we can do, and that's going out on the pitch and performing like that.